is in the studio. He's got the camera. Matt Rodkey's here from Homer Center. Good morning, Matt.
Morning. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Let's get you a little closer to that one. We've got Pat Doherty. And Pat, I'm sorry I wasn't introduced, so help me with our other.
This is Rebecca Kishlock from Breathe, PA.
Hi, Rebecca.
How are you?
She's the brains behind the operation.
Okay, then. With these two guys, it doesn't take a whole lot, Rebecca, I'm telling you. Matt, this evening at Homer Center High School, very important program.
Right. Tonight we are having these two, Pat and Becky, to talk to our community, and our assembly is titled "Vaping: What Every Parent Needs to Know." As probably most people are aware, vaping seems to be an epidemic at this point, and it's not just at Homer Center. Not just in Indiana County; it's a nationwide thing. And so, most of the questions, the big question is, how do we stop it? Okay, and legislation is kind of a tough way for us. We have in the past tried to refer to magistrates' offices, and because of the different things that can be in vapes, it's kind of tough for them to follow through. So we have had to rely on our district policies. There is some legislation that has been going through here over the past week, and I'm sure Pat will talk a little bit about that. But we feel that the best way to stop these things is through education. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we have reached out to Pat and Becky to kind of help our community with that.
Pat, statutory law is not quite up to speed yet. They're working on it, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And there's just a story, and hopefully the Senate's going to vote on it today. House Bill 97 cleared the House, and now hopefully the Senate's going to take up their version, and we're going to get these two bills passed into law. As it stands right now, we have no way to enforce children having these things on school property criminally. As Matt said, the districts can have their own policies and they can set disciplinary through the school districts. However, criminally, we don't have any way to do that at this point because, as Matt said, every vape could have a different combination. Mm-hmm. But for me, one of the real scary things, and we've seen it here over the last few weeks, is the pods that go into these vapes. They can put anything in those things. And so we've intercepted some with marijuana in them, some other controlled substances. So this is a real scary time because these things aren't super well regulated yet. The FDA is trying to catch up, trying to do what they need to do. But the variations in the pods themselves, it's amazing. Some have a lot of nicotine, some have little, some have other chemicals, some have controlled substances. And unless you have that pod and get that pod tested, it's very hard to determine if a crime has occurred and what we can do with it.
Yeah, moms and dads need to be frightened of this. And
yes.
And in a good way, they need to be frightened. Becky, let's talk to you about Breathe, PA. Who are you? And I know you've been around for a long, long time.
Yeah, we've actually been around since 1904. We are out of Pittsburgh. We are a small nonprofit. The programs that I run are Smoke Free for Life, and it's basically an adult cessation class, and then I have Smokeless Saturday, which is how I got in touch with everybody here. Smokeless Saturday is a diversionary program. So instead of kids going to a local judge or receiving a fine, we developed a program where we work with both the magistrates and the schools to send the kids to a 3-hour education piece. And at that time, we go through the health concerns, the considerations, what tobacco products are, what to be aware of, so that the child leaves with more of an education piece rather than a fine or a citation. So right now this year, we've already had close to 1,000 referrals into the program.
Wow.
We are in 14 counties. And Homer Center, Indiana County, has been great and very supportive of the program. So we hope that we can just reach parents tonight because, that's really where we need to start so they know what to look for.
So how do you structure the program tonight? What's your role in it?
So Pat is going to start the programming in the beginning, and then I will come in. I'll talk about what the devices are, how they look like, what's in them. Most importantly, I will talk a lot about the Juul because that is the number one referral source. Mm-hmm. And then I'll also be bringing the products with me so that parents can take a look. They can ask questions. They can see what they look like. And then I will cover a piece that talks about, health concerns, what we're seeing among youth, what might be inside of the products. and, how they are abused at this point.
Pat, as you take the stage tonight, you're going to be the guy that has to get their attention right away.
Yeah.
It's not so hard with this topic, is it?
No, and Todd, the thing is, we are seeing this all over the county. You and I have already talked about this topic before, but the contraptions, the jewels or the vapes or the whatever you want to call them, they take so many different forms. I mean, some look like memory sticks, and they can actually plug them into the computer to charge them. So mom and dad may not have any clue.
Oh, yeah.
And, so these things are hiding in plain sight. We want to educate. And as Mr. Rodkey said, we have a duty to educate our parents and educate our children to the health risks. I don't want to criminalize every bit of someone's life. If we can keep them from doing this, and if we help one person tonight or one family tonight, we've accomplished our goal.
Matt Rodkey, take us inside the classrooms and the hallways, Homer Center, and then, of course, your experiences in talking with folks from other school districts. Really is something that's insidious. It's come upon you quickly, hasn't it?
It has. It has increased this year. The last 2 or 3 years have been when we have been seeing it the most, I guess, but it's increased a lot this year. And yes, in talking with the other administrations throughout the county, they're experiencing the same things. It's funny. It's like smoking in the bathroom sort of thing. Well, now it's vaping in the restroom areas, and we have our security people sort of walking through those areas, and we find them often. As these guys said, they take all different shapes and forms, and I think it's very necessary for the parents to see what they look like. Unfortunately, we do have some parents that provide those for their children, but others of them are getting friends, older people to buy them for them. And like I said, Becky has been very helpful for us. Part of our district policy is that if you're caught in possession with a vape, then you do have to attend the Smokeless Saturday class. I have followed up with some of the kids that have went, and they really are learning a lot about vaping in general and the risks.
Yeah.
Most of them, when we ask them why you do it, they say that they think it's a more healthy alternative and they think it's cleaner. And I believe that Becky's really educating them on that is a falsehood.
Yeah, and Becky, one other thing about that is that with that sort of propaganda, if you want to use that term, about vaping, it's easy to see how kids might get the idea from one of their friends, and they start sharing the things, and
Absolutely.
then all of a sudden you got a whole bunch of, and a much, much bigger problem.
Yes.
Okay.
So right now what we're finding is that kids that would have never ever smoked are trying vaping products. One, they are easy to conceal. Two, they have flavorings that are very sweet. Everything that we told our kids as youth and young adolescents has been fine, which it would be like Swedish Fish, cotton candy, gummy bears. Those are all different flavorings. So the risk perception has drastically decreased with this product. I think that right now, when you see several youth using this product, they are just really desensitized by how dangerous it can be with, the idea behind it that it's just water vapor, which is not the case. But, we do see that being used as a cessation aid for adults. It's not federally approved. We recommend using federally approved nicotine replacement therapies. But unfortunately, some adults are using vaping as a cessation device.
Yeah, it's actually something that is promoted and pretty heavily.
Absolutely, yeah.
You see and hear commercials about it all the time, and about what a wonderful benefit it has been. And maybe it has benefited some, Pat, but the need for regulation is pretty obvious here. But in the meantime, while you're waiting for the legislature and for even Congress or the federal agencies to catch up to this problem, it's just that. It's a real problem.
It is a problem. One of the statistics that I saw, Todd, the amount of nicotine in one of the pods that's sold is the equivalent of roughly 200 cigarettes.
Wow.
So, this is a serious problem. Kids are getting addicted to nicotine in numbers that we have not seen even when cigarette smoking was at its heyday. So that does concern us. And as I talked about, you don't really know, because of the lack of regulation, what's in those pods, what the chemical makeup is. So we feel that by educating our youth and getting in front of this and trying to get as quick as we can, hopefully we get them educated and they decide, you know what, that's not for me.
Yeah, Matt Rodkey, tonight, and from the release that we got earlier, recognizing the devices. That's one of the things you're going to talk about. Withdrawal, and all of the issues that surround that. And when you're that addicted that quickly to something like that, and you're that young, and the chemical changes in your body, all of this has to be addressed. And tonight's the place to do it.
Yep, tonight is the place to do that, and Homer Center High School Auditorium is the place where it's going to be at from 7 to 8:30. And our audience is everyone that can hear this right now, not just Homer Center, not just Indiana County. We're reaching out to everyone that can come around, and we really hope to educate the community. Parents, if they want to bring their children, they're welcome to do that as well. And we want our parents to be educated and to be able to have those tough conversations with their kids about vaping and about some of those other sorts of things. So we really are excited about this.
Let's give the last word to Becky from Breathe PA. Becky, why is this important tonight for folks to know about and do?
I think this is important because we have seen such a drastic increase over the last 3 years. 2016-17, we had 300 referrals into the program. We are at 1,000, and I still have 5 months of school left. So that's telling me that parents need the knowledge, they need the background in order to help these children to make better decisions.
Yeah, okay. All right, so the program is happening tonight at Homer Center. Matt, again, the time?
7 to 8:30 in the high school auditorium.
Very good. And all of you will be there, and we hope that a whole bunch of other people will be there as well. This is important stuff. It's scary stuff.
Yes.
All right, thank you all for coming
Thank
in.
you.
Thanks for
We
having us.
appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS, AM 1160, 101.1 FM. We're